Hello everybody, welcome. We are beginning the video with our lens switch so that we don't got no motherfucking glare. Today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. And I've talked about imposter syndrome before, but we're going to talk about imposter syndrome again because imposter syndrome is not as bad as people think it is. In fact, I'm a huge advocate for imposter syndrome. I'm a big fan of imposter syndrome. And you might look at me and go, Morgan, why are you such a big fan of imposter syndrome? I hate imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is the worst thing I've ever heard of. And if you think that this video is going to get thoroughly search engine optimized for imposter syndrome, you betcha, baby girl. So let's take a look at what imposter syndrome really is. It's you acknowledging that there is something wrong with you for thinking that you're not good enough to do a job, which means that if you are experiencing imposter syndrome, you know that you're qualified because you're able to accurately identify that your brain is saying something to you that is incorrect. But before we get deeper into this, we need to talk about Audible really quickly, and I'm gonna run through this super fucking fast. If you click on the link in my bio, you can get 2 credits on Audible. It will give you 2 books on Audible for free, and it supports this channel, and I love you. Thank you for supporting me. Let's move on. So now that we've acknowledged that imposter syndrome is you accurately identifying that actually you are qualified for something, we need to talk about, well, what's imposter syndrome even doing then? What is the point of it? Why is it creating this goofy little hurdle that I need to try to jump over? It sucks. Well, consider this. When I think about, for example, whether or not I'm a talented enough artist for me to create a comic book, technically I could, and I can acknowledge that it's imposter syndrome that says, I literally can't right now. I can actually. But the imposter syndrome says, well, I need to get better at backgrounds. I need to get better at drawing faces. I need to get better at drawing different types of people. And those are actually areas where I could do a lot of improvement. So what has imposter syndrome done for me here? It has shown me where I don't have skill. And that's good information. You know what's worse than being somebody who's missing skills? Is being somebody who doesn't realize that they're missing skills but thinks they're a god. Have you ever met someone like that? They're the worst. Imposter syndrome does mean you will never be one of them. Yay. Now, what am I doing in the meantime when it comes to my comic stuff? Because I know that there are areas where I need to improve. Well, I have chosen the areas that I need to improve on, and I am working on them. For example, I'm learning how to draw men better. I am learning how to draw clothes. I have spent a whole bunch of time learning how to draw hands better, and then learning how to draw noses and faces better. I'm working on the things that I'm not very good at. I've also set a time limit on how much time I can spend putting off doing things that I want to do in order to build skill. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop building skill at the end of that time, but I have until the end of this year, until I need to get my ass to it and just do the thing no matter what my skill level happens to be. And there are other areas of my life where I have gone, you know what? I have to post, I have to create, I have to do the thing, even if my brain is telling me that I'm not good enough and I'm not talented enough, and these are all the ways that I could still improve. Well, imposter syndrome does cause me to improve. Imposter syndrome also causes me to realize that I am, in fact, in many ways good enough because I acknowledge the fact that it's a syndrome. I wouldn't be pathologizing it if I thought that everything about it were normal, true, and accurate. So here's what you're going to do. You are going to get yourself a pen and paper or a tablet or a notepad. You can do this digitally. I'm not your mother, though people do like to comment mommy on my posts, and that's okay. You can do that. But you are going to write down the things that you know are imposter syndrome, the things where you're telling yourself that you are not good enough to start, and you are going to give yourself a time limit. And that time limit can be maximum 1 year. It can't be more than that. It can't be more than that. That is how much time you get to improve before you have to do the thing. And you're going to write that down too. And then you're also going to ask yourself, hey, do I ever share the things that I don't feel that confident in ever? If the answer to that is yes, I want you to take the sheet of paper that you've just written on, and I want you to rip it up and maybe throw the pieces in the toilet or burn them in a fire in a fire safe environment. You know, we're not trying to have anyone die because of my videos, because if you've never faced that discomfort, you don't get the privilege of getting more time to try. You are going to share with the world the things that you find imperfect, whether it is music that you're writing or videos that you're making or art that you're creating. You're done. End of the line. You don't get to keep waiting. Go share that shit right now. Do it.